Safe was written for anyone that cares about the culture that they're a part of. That culture could be a church or a small group, it might be a workplace, or it could be their home. Because the reality is that in many places where we go or that we're a part of, we feel this pressure that we have to perform, that we have to act or be a certain way in order to be accepted or loved, and that immediately puts us into performance mode. And whenever we're in performance mode, we're not really able to be who we are, we're not able to be real, and that blocks us from being able to receive grace. Grace, I think, is an often misunderstood concept. We think of it as a fairly general idea that I'm loving or kind, or if someone does something that offends me or bothers me, I choose not to retaliate, and we define that as grace. But grace is really far more rooted in our identity, in who I am. A recognition that my value doesn't come from performance, that I don't have to act or behave or be a certain way in order to get you to love me. And we're kind of programmed that way in our culture and in our thinking that if I do well enough, or if I'm kind, or if I'm the good little boy for mom and dad, that then they value me because of that performance. So grace is really an entirely different way of finding value that says you're valued for who you are right now in this moment as much as you ever could be, no matter how well you do or don't perform. Another thing I think we do in church, and I know I did this a lot as a leader, I wanted people to show up that were already processed, that they weren't in process of becoming mature, like they were already mature, that they were ready to be an elder or a small group leader or to be hired and be on staff. But that kind of begs the question, if we expect everyone to already be mature, then where can they go to get matured? Sometimes we're in such effort to conceal sin that it makes everyone feel like, well, it's not okay to have problems here. It's not okay to have issues. Or when someone does come to us, even if they're coming to us personally in an office or in a counseling kind of environment, and they reveal something, and if we react with shock or surprise to what they've done, like, how could you do that? And maybe our intention is good. We're trying to underscore the seriousness of breaking God's law or how it ruins relationships. Yeah, that's true, but it does send that message of what's wrong with you? How could you do that? It really is through other people that we're able to experience grace personally best, because it's through other people that we most experience God's love and goodness to us. When I'm in a safe group, when I'm with people that accept me for who I am, that don't need me to perform in order to love me, and I'm able to do that same thing, just kind of, well, here's my stuff. And I experience through them, man, thanks for sharing that. So glad you're here. We love you. We care about you. The words spoken to me by a brother or a sister in Christ, by a friend who cares about me, someone who loves me at that level, it allows me to experience the grace I know that God gives, but it's what takes it out of that head knowledge of grace into really an experience that, wow, it doesn't matter what I've done. God values me because I see it and I hear it in others. And when that begins to happen through others, that's the kind of grace that begins to transform us. I think the key in creating a culture of grace for others is we have to be that kind of person. That when someone comes to us and they start to open up that door and say, well, here's my stuff, here's something that happened, we're getting a little bit of their real messiness, the way we respond is really critical. That we're able to say to them, you are so valuable, you are so loved, and I'm so grateful you're sharing these things. Now, there may still be things they have to do. They might have consequences. They might have steps they need to take to change. It's not releasing a person from the natural outcomes of their decisions and behaviors, but it's helping them understand it hasn't changed your value one single bit. If you read Safe, what I think you're going to get out of it is a clear path to living a life where you're at peace with yourself and with others. What I hear from so many people and what I experienced in my own life is this gnawing fear that I would be discovered for who I really was, and that if people really knew the kind of things I did or the thoughts I have, that they would reject me. And when you find out that's not true, that you don't have to play the game and sing the song and do the dance for people to like you, that you can be real and loved and accepted right where you're at, it's a very, very freeing place to be. And so if you feel a little bit like your life is this treadmill of always trying harder to be good enough and never quite getting there, this book is for you.